Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Today's story is very special because I am going to share an unforgettable experience with you. My first flight to Paris. This is not just a story, it's a journey where I will introduce you to many new phrases, useful vocabulary, and important travel tips. By the end of this story, you will feel as if you traveled with me, and you will learn everything about flying alone for the first time. I know many of you might feel nervous about traveling alone, especially on an international flight. But don't worry. I will guide you through everything: what to pack, airport formalities, security checks, boarding the flight, and all the little things that first-time travelers should know. This is going to be amazing fun and full of new experiences, so let's go. My name is Nick, and this journey is very special to me. Everybody loves traveling, but my trip was extra special because it was not only my first flight, but also to my dream destination, Paris. Paris is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, the capital of France, and a place filled with history, romance, and culture. It is known as the most romantic city in the world, famous for its delicious food, artistic museums, high fashion, and of course, the iconic Eiffel Tower. I had always dreamed of visiting Paris, walking along the Seine River, exploring luxury boutiques, and sitting in a cute little cafe with a croissant and a cup of coffee. And now that dream was coming true. But before reaching Paris, I had to go through something I had never done before taking my first flight. I started my day early in the morning, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The first thing I did was double-check my packing. Packing is very important when traveling by flight because airlines have strict rules. I had two types of bags: checked luggage, which is the big suitcase that goes in the airplane's cargo, and hand luggage, a small bag I could carry with me inside the plane. The airline had a weight limit 23 kg for my big suitcase and 7 kg for my hand luggage. I packed my clothes, shoes, toiletries, and other essentials. But then, just before leaving for the airport, I realized I forgot my medicine. I panicked for a moment, but then I calmed myself down because I remembered something very useful. Airports have medical shops. So if you ever forget something important like medicine, don't worry, you can buy it at the airport. With everything packed, I took my passport, visa, tickets, and some cash in dollars and euros. Always carry some cash when traveling because not all places accept cards, and exchanging money at the airport is more expensive. I booked a taxi to the airport, and as I sat in the car watching the city lights pass by, my heart was racing. This was really happening. As I entered the airport, I was greeted by a huge, bright terminal full of travelers from all over the world. There were big digital screens displaying flight details, people rushing with their luggage, families saying goodbye, and airport staff helping passengers. It felt like stepping into a different world. The first thing I had to do was check in. I went to my airline's counter, showed my passport and ticket, and they gave me my boarding pass. My checked luggage was weighed and sent to the airplane. A little tip: if your luggage is overweight, you will have to pay extra, so always check the weight before leaving home. Next came the part that made me a little nervous security check. This is where all passengers must pass through a scanner and their hand luggage is checked for safety reasons. I placed my handbag, phone, laptop, and jacket in a tray. Suddenly, the officer told me to remove my watch, belt, and shoes. I wasn't expecting that, but then I saw everyone else doing the same. So if this happens to you, don't feel shy. It happens to everyone. I walked through the security scanner, and thankfully, there were no issues. But remember, sharp objects like scissors, liquids above 100 milliliters, and even water bottles are not allowed in hand luggage. After security, it was time for immigration. This is where officers check your passport, visa, and travel documents. They asked me a few questions. Why I was traveling to Paris, where I would stay, and when I would return. I answered confidently, and they stamped my passport. With my documents cleared, I had some free time before boarding my flight. I decided to explore the airport, and it was one of the most fun parts of the journey. The airport was like a mini city. There were luxury shops, restaurants, bookstores, and even lounges where people could relax. I walked into a duty-free shop and saw perfumes, chocolates, and expensive brands at lower prices because they were tax-free. I was feeling hungry, so I went to the food court and had a bowl of hot noodles. It felt so good to relax and enjoy my meal while watching airplanes take off through the glass window. As I sat there, it finally hit me. I was really about to fly soon. My boarding gate was announced. I checked my boarding pass and walked towards my gate number. An airline staff member checked my ticket, and I finally entered the airplane. I had a window seat. I was so happy because I wanted to see the clouds and experience the view from the sky. The airplane was modern, clean, and comfortable. The cabin crew greeted me with a warm smile, and I found my seat easily. The seat was cozy, and the air smelled fresh. I placed my handbag under the seat in front of me, fastened my seatbelt, and waited for the big moment takeoff. The airplane started moving slowly towards the runway. My heart was beating fast. Then I heard the pilot's voice. Sabine, prepare for takeoff. Within seconds, the plane accelerated, the ground disappeared, and I was in the sky. I looked out of the window. The city below became smaller and smaller until all I could see were fluffy white clouds. It felt like floating in a dream. I had butterflies in my stomach, but it was the most amazing feeling ever. As I relaxed into my seat, I thought about how a few hours ago, I was standing in an airport, and now I was flying high above the world. Traveling alone for the first time might seem, but trust me, it is one of the most exciting experiences of life. You learn new things, meet new people, and discover how strong and independent you are. Welcome to Paris. The moment I stepped out of the airport, a cool breeze touched my face. The air smelled different, a mix of fresh bread, coffee, and something magical. Paris had a charm and elegance, a beauty that I had only seen in pictures, but now I was finally here. I had planned to stay for 3 days, and I wanted to see everything. So let's go explore Paris with me. The weather was chilly, but not freezing, around 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. So I put on a light sweater and my jacket. Paris has unpredictable weather, so it's always a good idea to carry a jacket and an umbrella. I took a taxi from Charles de Gaulle Airport to my hotel. The ride cost around 50 euros, and the journey was about 45 minutes. On the way, I looked out of the window and saw beautiful Parisian streets, charming old buildings, and small cafes filled with people sipping coffee. I had booked a cute little hotel near the city center, which cost 120 per night. The best part: it had a balcony with a view of the Eiffel Tower. I quickly checked in, dropped my bags, and stepped out because I didn't want to waste a single moment. My first destination was Pont des Arts, also known as the Lovelock Bridge. This place is famous because couples from all over the world come here, write their names on a lock, attach it to the bridge, and throw the key into the Seine River. Even though I was alone, I still bought a lock for 5 from a nearby shop and wrote my name on it. I attached it to the bridge and made a wish to have an amazing time in Paris. The view from the bridge was breathtaking. The Seine River sparkled under the sunlight. Boats passed by, and people sat on the edge talking and laughing. I took some pictures and then walked towards my next stop, the Louvre Museum. The Louvre Museum is one of the biggest museums in the world. It has over 35,000 artworks, but my main goal was to see the Mona Lisa. The entry ticket cost me 18 euros. The museum was huge, with beautiful architecture inside. It was like stepping into another world, giant paintings, sculptures, and golden ceilings. After walking through many halls, I finally reached her, the Mona Lisa. She was smaller than I expected, but surrounded by a huge crowd. I stood there looking at her face, trying to understand, is she happy or sad? Her famous enigmatic smile is truly captivating. I spent an hour exploring more art, then decided it was time for lunch. I had heard about a famous restaurant called Pink Mama, known for its delicious Italian food and beautiful interior. I ordered their special truffle pasta 23 and a refreshing lemonade of 5. The food was rich, creamy, and full of flavor. The restaurant had big glass windows, pink walls, and plants everywhere. It felt like a cozy, dreamy place. I enjoyed my meal slowly, savoring every bite. After lunch, it was time for Disneyland. Visiting Disneyland in Paris felt like stepping into a fairy tale. I had always dreamed of coming here. Ticket price is 75 to 69 euros for one day. As soon as I entered, I saw a giant pink castle, Disney characters walking around, and music playing in the background. I ran towards my favorite rides, Space Mountain, a thrilling roller coaster in the dark, Pirates of the Caribbean, a boat ride with pirates and treasure, and It's a Small World, a cute ride showing different cultures. After enjoying the rides, I had a Mickey-shaped ice cream, a $7, and a hot dog on Tobogers. But the best part, the parade at 5:00 p.m. Disney characters like Mickey, Minnie, and Cinderella danced through the streets. It was magical. Before leaving, I bought a small souvenir, a keychain of the Eiffel Tower, 1 hours. Next, I went to Avengers Campus inside Disneyland. If you love Marvel movies, this place is a dream. I saw Iron Man's suit, Spider-Man's web, swinging show, and even met Captain America. I tried the Spider-Man ride where I had to shoot webs at moving targets. It was so much fun! After spending a few more hours here, I was tired but happy. it was time to head back to the city and explore more of Paris. As the sun set, I walked towards the Eiffel Tower. At night, it looked even more magical, covered in golden lights, shining beautifully. I sat on a bench nearby, enjoying a chocolate crepe, a sixth year. The air was filled with the smell of fresh pastries and warm coffee. At 9:00 p.m., something amazing happened. The Eiffel Tower started sparkling. Thousands of tiny lights flickered, and everyone around me started cheering. Before ending my day, I decided to take a Seine River cruise to see Paris from the water. The ticket cost 20 euros, 18 euros, and the boat had glass windows and open seating. As the boat moved, I saw Paris at night, Notre Dame Cathedral, the Louvre, and the Eiffel Tower reflecting in the water. The city looked even more beautiful under the stars. I closed my eyes, feeling the cool breeze, and thought, this is the most perfect day of my life. I lay in bed thinking about all the beautiful places I had seen and the memories I had made. Soon my eyes closed, and I fell into a deep sleep, dreaming of one more perfect day in the city of love. It was my final day in Paris, and I woke up early, feeling both excited and a little sad, because I knew I had to say goodbye to this magical city soon. But I promised myself I would make this last day count. So I decided to visit a few more places, explore a bit deeper, and share all the little details with you. The first place on my list was Canal Saint-Martin. It's not as famous as the Eiffel Tower or Notre Dame, but it's one of the most charming spots in Paris. I walked along the canal, watching the boats slowly float by and the locals sitting on benches having their morning coffee. It was a peaceful and relaxing place to just breathe in the beauty of the city. I stopped at a small cafe by the water where I ordered a pain au chocolate, a 3.5 zero, and a cup of espressos, 2.522. The croissant was warm, with chocolate oozing out as I took my first bite. It was perfect! As I was walking, I ran into my friend Sarah. She happened to be in Paris too. We were both excited to see each other, and I was glad to have someone to explore with on my last day. We decided to head to La Marais, a trendy neighborhood filled with beautiful boutiques, art galleries, and incredible food. We stopped at a small market where we bought some cheese, 55, charcuterie, a 7-ard, and fresh fruit, a 3-dive. Then we went to Place des Vosges, one of the oldest squares in Paris, to have a mini picnic. We sat on a bench enjoying the food, talking about travels, and laughing. Sarah shared a funny story about getting lost in Rome, and we both agreed that the best part of travel was the memories you make and the people you meet. After our picnic, Sarah and I decided to explore the Latin Quarter, one of the most historical neighborhoods in Paris. We walked through the narrow streets, passing old bookshops, street performers, and cafes. The area was full of energy, but it had a quiet charm to it. We visited the Pantheon, a grand monument that honors some of France's greatest figures like Voltaire and Rousseau. The entrance fee was about by 12, but it was worth it. Inside, I saw the stunning architecture and learned about the rich history of France. Afterwards, we went to Shakespeare and Company, a famous English language bookstore. I bought a book on Parisian history, qui 50 viv as a souvenir, and spent a while browsing through the shelves. One of my last stops was the Luxembourg Gardens, a beautiful park with fountains, statues, and lush greenery. The sun was shining, and the park was filled with people walking, reading, and relaxing. I took a seat by one of the fountains and watched the sailing boats on the small pond. The Luxembourg Gardens are known for being a perfect place to unwind and take in the peace and beauty of Paris. It was a serene and magical moment that I will never forget. As the day turned into evening, I wanted to see Paris from a different perspective. So Sarah and I went on a Seine river cruise. We boarded a boat near the Eiffel Tower for a romantic evening cruise, a $20 The boat slowly glided through the river, and as we passed famous landmarks like the Louvre and Notre Dame, I couldn't stop smiling. The cruise was filled with soft music, laughter, and the sound of water gently lapping against the boat. I felt so lucky to be experiencing Paris in such a beautiful way. As I headed back to my hotel later that evening, I couldn't help but reflect on my incredible journey. Paris had been everything I dreamed of and more. It was a city that had welcomed me with open arms, full of history, art, food, and adventure. Every single moment, from the picnic by the Eiffel Tower to the Seine River cruise, had felt like a dream. I had learned so much, not just about Paris, but about myself. Traveling had taught me the importance of stepping out of my comfort zone and embracing new experiences. It reminded me that the world is full of incredible places, people and stories waiting to be discovered. As I packed my bags and prepared to leave, I realized that this trip to Paris was just the beginning. There are so many more places I want to explore, and I know that I'll continue to learn, grow, and be inspired by the world. To everyone watching this story, I want to say, don't wait for the perfect time to travel. If you dream of going somewhere, take that first step. The world is full of adventures waiting for you, and the memories you make will last a lifetime. Travel not only opens your eyes to new places, but it also opens your heart to new possibilities. So pack your bags, step out of your comfort zone, and make your dreams come true. Thank you so much for joining me on this unforgettable journey through Paris. I hope you felt like you were right there with me, experiencing it all. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and never stop believing that you can create your own incredible journey. Remember, the world is waiting for you.